Welcome, Tara and Dustin. And who else? I think we had everybody. All right, shall we get started? Everyone okay with that? There might be a few people, hello Jeff, that join us as the meeting progresses, but welcome. Thank you for joining our, once again, virtual meeting. Stephen Senor, Chair of Dunn County LAPC, and it looks like everyone's pretty much remote, so please be safe out there. I happen to be in Oklahoma right now, where we had some storms last night as well. So please, best to you and your family, and also happy holidays to you and your family. So I hope it's a safe and productive holiday season, and maybe we can move on hopefully a little better next year in terms of where the worldwide situation is. The call to order. So let's go ahead and do this. I'll start the introductions and then I'll introduce myself last. Probably instead of everyone just trying to maybe talk over each other, if you don't mind, I'll just ask you to introduce yourself. And if I get your name wrong, please correct me. I have the participant list here. So Krista, would you like to start, please?
Sure, I'm Krista Vind. I work for the IT department for Dunn County.
All right, thank you, Krista. And thanks for all your help in setting up the meeting and behind the scenes and all your wonderful IT work. You're one do an amazing job.
Thank you.
And Stephen, our director.
Hi, this is Stephen Finley, Dunn County Emergency Management Coordinator and Coordinator of Information for the LAPC.
Great, thank you, Stephen. And Brad from 3M.
Yeah, Brad Ludke, 3M Menominee Environmental Engineer.
Okay, thank you, Brad. And Brian?
Hey, good morning, Brian Morris, Dunn County Aries Races.
Okay, thank you, Brian. And Dustin, please.
Morning, Dustin with Dunn County Highway Department, Engineer Superintendent and Interim Highway Commissioner.
Thank you, Dustin. And Greg?
Greg Tamberg, Big River Resources, Foyceville Environmental Safety Coordinator.
Thank you, Greg. And Jeff? Rob?
Jeff Robb, Dunn County Health Department, Emergency Health or Environmental Health Manager. Sorry, Emergency Planning Committee. Got me tongue-tied there.
Thank you, Jeff. Jim Tripp, please.
Morning, Jim Tripp, Dunn County Board of Supervisors. I chair the Judiciary and Law Committee.
Okay, great, thank you. Kate. Kate Carlson. Okay, we'll move on. Kelly, if you'd introduce yourself, please.
Dunn County Board of Supervisors, Chair of the Highway Committee.
Okay, thank you. And Sheriff, would you introduce yourself, please, Kevin?
Sure, Kevin Big, Dunn County Sheriff.
Great, thank you. And I'm sorry, first name, Mr. Sampson, please.
Good morning, Mike Sampson, Patrol Lieutenant with the Menominee Police Department.
Thank you, Mike. Thanks for joining us. Quentin, please.
Quentin Pop, Sand Creek Fire Department.
Great, thank you very much. And Tara?
Good morning, Tara Verdon. I'm Emergency Management Coordinator and Safety Coordinator for Mayo Clinic Health System.
Thank you, Tara. And Chief Tim Koletsky.
Tim Koletsky, Menominee Fire Department.
Thank you, Tim. And Denny?
Yes, good morning.
Thank you, Denny. And then I'm sorry, I have a number, but not a name, 379-7910.
Yep, that's me, Representative Rob Summerfield. Having
Oh, Rob,
with the
okay,
Zoom.
thank you. Sorry, Rob, I didn't pick up the name. Thank you for joining us. Did I miss anybody or did we get everybody?
I think you got everybody, but I should probably mention I'm also Menominee City Council. I knew enough on that I forget to mention it.
Great, well, thank you, Kelly. All right, I think we have everybody. If anyone else joins us, we can certainly introduce them as well. The next order of business is the summary from the previous meeting or the minutes, and those have been sent out. So if you would like to take a moment to review them or see if there are any questions, we'll just pause for a few seconds. Want to look it over, or you want to raise any questions, please do. If not, I'll ask for a motion to accept them.
When were those sent? Because I never received them. I didn't receive the agenda for this one either.
Oh, you did not? Okay.
No.
We'll try to correct that between Stephen and I, Greg. Sorry about that.
Okay, thank you.
I believe Kristen sent that out. Let me make a note here. Would you like to have them right now to review?
No, that's fine. I trust you guys.
Okay, thank you. All right, thank you, Greg. What I can do, Greg, is when we have a moment, I'll go ahead and forward you the invite, which should have all the attachments to it. How's that?
Okay.
All right. Great, thank you. Is there a motion to accept the minutes?
Kevin Big so moves.
Thank you, Kevin. Is there a second?
I'll second, Steve.
Okay, thank you, Tara. All in favor, you can either raise your hand if you have your camera on, or you can put the little hand signal up, or however, raise your hands or wave. Any motion to accept? Great, thank you. I can see about 4 of you. I know this is a little bit weird. Any, and you can put the thumbs down, I guess, if you disagree. Any nays or anybody not approved? All right, looks like the motion carries. Next order of business, we'll turn over to Chief Kleski, is the fire department, the review of the coordinator in terms of the hazmat team update. Tim, could you take us through that, please? Or Stephen, perhaps, is there any update in terms of the hazmat team or from the Menominee Fire Department in terms of happening since the last meeting or upcoming events?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes, thank you, Tim. You kind of paused out again. Can you get us okay?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, Tim.
Well, I don't have internet way out here in the sticks, so I'm going off my phone. So I attended the tabletop exercise up in Boyceville Fire Department for the emergency response to the ethanol plant, and I was up there with Stephen and Boyceville Fire and representatives from the ethanol plant, and it was a very good exercise. I think that everybody worked together and realized the potential that could happen up there and what resources we would need and how we would work together to mitigate an incident if we had it. Also, I'm working with WEM and the REACT Center to get a grant for hazmat technician refresher for our whole fire department members. And going with our tier 2 reports, we just had we just purchased a pre-plan inspection program with iPads, and we can download those tier 2 reports, and those reports, the site plans that Stephen sends out when he gets them. What a fantastic tool to have on hand in case we have an incident, to find out where the bad stuff is and how to get to it and get people out. So I think that's going to be a great addition to the resources that we have to mitigate something throughout Dunn County.
Good. Thank you, Tim. Anything else to report skill-wise or anything else to report that way?
No, other than being up all night chasing down power lines. We've had a few diesel spills, but nothing worth significant. We did have I don't know if it was before the last meeting, we did have a nitrogen release out in American Materials south of town, and we got there and there was nothing really showing at that time. It kind of had a mist around the tank, and a passerby kind of stated that he seen this fog around it, but it never amounted to much. But other than that, it's been, knock on wood, pretty good.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for Tim or on the fire department, fire safety report? Okay, appreciate the update. Then now we'll switch over to Stephen Finley. If you could, Stephen, give us an update from the coordinator report, the information, and we'll just kind of blend them together if you're okay with that. The budget review, the reports,
Okay.
and then we'll go into the offsite specific plans.
Okay. The budget review stands that there were no expenses since June, and there are no claims either that we had to work on, and there's no other expenses other than wages and fringe benefits for the staff. I do have a list of spill reports here. It's a bit of an extensive list, but again, a lot of them, they aren't large spills, but they were reported, and a lot of them are reported as closed out. So I'll go through the list here real quick.
Sure.
January 7th, 125-gallon diesel spill due to a motor vehicle crash. That was closed in May. A lot of these take several months to close out. That's why I have to go all the way back to January in order to follow them all the way through to a closeout. So that was on the interstate at mile marker 43. March 3rd, there was the logging vehicle that burned out and around Boyceville, and consequently, they burned up a lot of diesel and lubricants out of the machine, and that spill was closed out on July 14th. May 15th, a 5-gallon motor oil spill from another MVC motor vehicle crash on the interstate closed on July 2nd. There was a May 20, a lubricants ongoing incident that stored vehicles on a property. They were in a shed and now they're outside. And this one's been, the DNR is watching this one. It's an ongoing incident that they're trying to get the owner to clean up off. It's off the road, it's on private property. June 14th, the one that happened just before the last LEPC meeting, was asphalt sealer that was spilled down on County Road E. And that was cleaned up within a day. The contractor was right back there cleaning it up, and that one went really well. Everything was covered, and that was closed out on June 30th. On June 30th, on the interstate under the County Road B overpass, there was an unknown substance in 25 gallons of an unknown substance. They finally determined it was cooking oil, so that was closed out on July 8th. Then into September, Love's Truck Stop 15-gallon diesel spill closed on September 13th. September 20th, leachate from a leak, a compromised berm at the Menominee landfill, and that one was closed out on October 25th. November 3rd, PFAS in mixture leaked into the ground during maintenance. It was a small leak that was remediated by Bay West. That was at 3M in Menominee. November 8th, 5-gallon mineral oil spill. Excel reported it was a leaking capacitor on a power pole that they remediated that. So that's all the spills. The last couple are open, but they're very recent. They were in November. And so as the reports come in by June, hopefully these will all be closed out too. That's all of the spills I have. And again, no claims to report, meaning that there were no claims that we as the LEPC had to submit invoices on behalf of the responders. They do their own invoicing, and they do get their own billing. If they have a problem, we will back them up and go after the reimbursement. But in the case, in this time period, in the case of the asphalt leak in on the road down on County Road E, that was all taken care of between the responsible party and the two responding agencies. That's it. Until we come up to the offsite plans here, Stephen. So that's what I have for the claims and the spills report and the budget.
Great job. Thank you, Stephen. Any questions for Stephen on either the budget or comments as well on the budget or on the spill activity? Seeing none, we'll move over to our next order of business. And Stephen, if we could keep it with you, please. We have a series of, and I can either introduce them or you can. We have a series of 5 different plans that were reviewed.
Yep.
Would you like to take us through that, please?
We do. We have 23 facilities in the county that are what are considered planning facilities. We do review their plans. We try to break it up, and every plan gets reviewed on a 2-year cycle. This period between June and now, we reviewed plans for 5 facilities. The Ford Motor Company Twin Cities High Velocity Center, just north of the freeway there on Badger Drive. Their plan, there were no changes to that plan. Everything looked fine. School District of Menominee, there's a chlorine usage there at their pool facility at the high school. No changes there. And usually the changes are personnel changes. We have to account for somebody left, so somebody else came. So no changes there. Walmart Supercenter, the store there at the Highway 25 exit, they sent me a new safety data sheet, and they had a new alternate coordinator come in. So we have a new contact information there. Walmart Distribution Center, same thing. They have listed a new alternate coordinator, a new safety data sheet. And then the Phillips Medisize plant, Phillips Medisize LLC, that's the one at 412 Red Cedar. We updated contact information there. That was also the coordinator's position. We had to change some email addresses there is all. So facility-wise, the operations within the facility, the how they operate, their processes and everything, no indication of any changes. Quantities of the hazardous substances hadn't changed, storage, any of those things, just a matter of personnel changes. That's all for that.
Okay, good job. Thank you very much.
Any
questions? So we had the 5 different plans that Stephen went over.
Yeah. I go over them. I do the initial work to go out and contact the facilities. We haven't done facilities for the last couple of years, facility on-site visits for the last couple of years because of COVID. We'd like to get back to that because it's really good to get into these facilities and look around, talk to the folks, take a few pictures if we need to, and those kind of things. So I do the initial look at, visit. I then turn the plans over as I've done the changes to the subcommittee, and they take a look at them and get back to me with any questions, or if several of them are here on this call, if they have any questions or any additions, I'd welcome them. But I think the plans were minimally changed or modified this time, updated.
Thank you, Stephen. Are there any questions on the plans and the updates that Stephen went over, or some of the changes, or you have any comments, concerns at all? Please step in if you do.
Mostly a point of curiosity. In the past, those have been sent out. Did they get sent out this time?
They were sent out to the subcommittee, but
Okay,
I'll certainly send them out. Pardon me?
I said, but not the full committee.
Correct.
Okay, great. I was looking through my notes and I didn't have them, and I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't supposed to.
I can do that. I sure can put those in the packet to everybody. Or I could send them to you for your information now. Kelly, I can do that. Yeah.
Yeah, if you want to shoot them my way, that'd be great.
Absolutely.
As a new member of the committee, it's been really useful for me to get a sense of at least a first round through them.
Okay.
And thank you, Kelly. And as a practice, this is to the general audience that we have here, our participants, would you like to receive the copies, kind of like what Kelly was asking, or do you have a preference either way? Anyone else?
I'm a member of the subcommittee, so I did get the plans and in relatively the same position that Kelly is, kind of new to me, and I find them really interesting to look at. The first time I looked at them, I thought, holy grapes, there are a lot of people taking a lot of trouble to make sure that we're on top of things, and I was very much impressed. Having seen a bunch now, you look through them and they're not all that fascinating, but I do think it would be useful for all the committee members to at least have a chance to look at them. Because they reveal a lot about the kind of planning that goes into addressing potential hazards from spills, fires, all kinds of stuff. So I just think they're useful to look at.
We use the plans two ways, two major ways. One is for setting up exercises with the particular facility. We'll take this plan, go in with the representatives from the facility, put together an exercise and test how we can respond. I also like to provide them to the fire departments that respond to their first into these facilities as a starting point for their pre-plan, so they can kind of gauge what they need to do if they're going to be called out to one of these facilities for whatever substance they'd be faced with.
All right, well, thank you, Jim, and thanks, Kelly. We can certainly, kind of as Stephen was mentioning, send out the reports as long as the other packet. And Greg, by the way, I forwarded you the materials, so hopefully you receive those. And that way you could look at them, maybe bring up any questions that you have or address them with Stephen and the subcommittee, and that way they can take a look at that, because that's really the great job that they do is protecting our community and our county. So that helps kind of frame everything in case there's an EMS response needed. All right, any other questions or comments on the plans before we have seek a motion to accept? If not, is there a motion to accept the changes in the plans as Stephen had described?
I'll move. Tripp.
Okay, thank you, Jim. Is there a second?
I'll second. McCullough.
Thank you, sir. All those in favor, please do the hand raise or wave or whatnot. And a lot of people have their cameras off, so I can't tell. Everyone good? Anyone opposed? All right, thank you, Mike. All those opposed? No? Motion passes. Thank you. Maybe someday we'll have live meetings again. We can actually do this in person and bring in coffee and treats, but we'll see. We'll kind of keep it going here live. Appreciate everyone's flexibility and willingness to work in this virtual environment that we have. Next order of business, Stephen, if you wouldn't mind, I'd like to maybe have you just discuss briefly the LAPC membership updates. That was one of the handouts, and if you have that pulled up on your laptop or on your screen, you can see the list of names, many of which of us are on the call right now, and we do have some terms expiring this month. Stephen, would you be able to help us with that, please?
Jeff Beckel from Cardinal Float Glass has notified us that he's changed positions over there, and he'd like to have Matthew Crow come on as his replacement. I think that's on the new list. I should bring that up myself. Dustin Bender as the interim highway commissioner. We'd like propose that he be placed on the list. And we did have a question on the broadcast media position. We do have a representative for the media, Nicholas Blomstrand from, there's the list, from iHeartMedia is on the list. And the other positions which this leads into very well is we have elections today, and the elected positions are the chair, the co-chair, and the secretary. I guess, Stephen, Mr. Chair, if you want to take, when we get to that point, take the election process, that we would, open it up for nominations. But those are the positions. Dustin, Nick, let's see here. Oh, Oh, Michael Sampson too, from Willamette Police. That's the other one. I didn't have that on my other list. So those three persons would be recommended on my recommendation. You certainly folks talk it over, but Matthew, Dustin, and Michael to be replacements for the folks that were on there as general members.
All right, so the addition, Stephen, would be Matthew, Dustin, and Michael.
Yes.
Okay. And then the positions up for reappointment or renewal would be the LAPC chair, the vice chair,
Yeah, we got
and the secretary.
Yes, and I've got that as number 10 on here, but whenever you want to do that update, but yeah.
All right, well, why don't we take it, if this makes sense to everybody, for the election or appointments for the new personnel. Is that acceptable? And then we'll get to the reappointments a little bit later on. Everyone okay with that? Thank you, Kevin. So the proposal is, and you can see the list here if that helps, is to add Matthew, Dustin, and Michael to the proposed, or the list that is the membership or the LAPC, the finest in the land. Is there a motion to accept the additions of these fine individuals?
Kevin Biggs, so moved.
Thank you, Kevin. Is there a second, please?
I'll second.
Okay, thank you. All those in favor, please indicate somehow. Looking at the list here.
Okay.
Great. Any opposed? I need a gap. Motion passes. Welcome. Thank you, Matthew, Dustin, and Michael, for your willingness to serve. We look forward to having you at the upcoming meetings and really appreciate you joining this excellent team that we have in place here. So welcome.
Stephen, if I may, one more thing. I
Please.
saw a new face on here today, Jeff Robb, and I don't know if he's here as a visitor or if he would be coming on board or a prospective member. If he can hear me, if they want to address that one way or the other.
Yeah, so I've replaced Keith here at the health department, so I think it would make sense to add me in his place. I think that would make the most sense.
All right, Jeff, you're willing to serve?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay, great. Welcome.
Thank you.
I think we can continue with that. Any questions or comments before we move on?
Just a quick procedural. Do we need a motion to accept
Yes,
Jeff in
thank you.
that spot?
Yes,
So
thank you
moved.
very much. So we have great. We have a motion. Who made the motion? I'm sorry.
McCullough, motion.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Kelly. And a second was?
Kevin Biggs.
Yeah, all right. Thank you very much. All those in favor again? Thank you. There has to be a better way to do this. All those opposed? All right, motion passes. Welcome aboard. Thank you for joining us, Jeff. Thank you for that correction on their behalf. All right, next order of business, and I can certainly pull it up if you'd like to take a look at it, would be, and Stephen, if you wouldn't mind guiding us through that, please, the review of the committee rules.
I do this before every meeting. I take a look at them. Essentially, there were no changes. I may have made an editorial change in there, like an update of the description of the county. I think I updated the populations of the communities. That would have been the only thing. I looked through the rest of it. Location and characteristics. The populations changed a little bit, so I updated that. So our editorial changes, no policy changes in there. My recommendation would be that we accept them as they are. Nothing in there that I saw would change anything that we do.
And everyone should have received this. Would you like a few minutes or moments to look it over? Or did everyone receive this? Okay.
Yeah, I believe that one went out with the packet.
It did, yes.
Okay,
Steve,
good.
if I might make a comment, this is
Sure.
Jim Tripp.
Sure, Jim.
At the last meeting, we talked about the membership which now says broadcast and print media, and we talked about the possibility of adding electronic media. Is that something we want to do now?
Here's what I found out about that. The Code of Federal Regulations, where this all starts, calls it the broadcast and print media. And then it hands it off to the state to administer, and the state hands it down to the counties, our LEPC. Well, in our resolution, the county resolution, it is stated as the media. Whether we, as a county board back in 1989, expanded that to accept any form of media, and whether that overrules the Code of Federal Regulations, I can't speak to that, but that's how it is in our resolution. So potentially, if we were to try to change it to broadcast, print, and social, I don't know that that's something we can do at a county level. If we left it at media, the media as it is, and was done in 1989, maybe we're covered. You know, it covers all media. So I throw that out there for discussion. I don't know.
If I might, if the CFR says broadcast and print media, is that what you said?
That's correct. Yep.
And the state regulation uses simply the term media?
No, it's the county resolution that says the media.
Okay.
Yep.
If we were to change our language to simply media instead of broadcast and print media, would that put us in alignment with the CFR and the state?
I don't know that I'm the one to answer that one, but I think you mean change the committee rules?
In section 2 under membership, yeah.
Yeah.
Where it now says broadcast and print media. If we eliminated broadcast and print and simply used the word media, as apparently the state does.
No, the state says broadcast and print. It's the county that says the media.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, the county resolution.
So
maybe the county resolution is not in compliance then.
That's what I would say, but I don't know how big a deal that is. Personally, I just don't know. Is that pot worth stirring, or do we? It's been that way for 30 years. We haven't been called on it. But that's all I can say about it. Yeah.
Maybe if we just forget the whole thing, that's the best course.
We could certainly have an offline discussion, perhaps, or a separate subcommittee, if you want to call it, or a separate meeting to see if that would be something to consider.
I think this started last meeting because we were having a hard time filling that position with a person in the broadcast or print. We thought, well, if we extended it to social media, that maybe that would broaden our ability to find a person. And I don't know what the intentions are beyond that. I mean, again, this was written in 1989. There was no social media at that time. If the federal government's going to update or modify anything, they would filter down to us. At this point, nobody's seen a need to change the federal regulations. So, and the state direction is to follow the federal regulation. That's their direction to us. So, again, I'll leave it like that.
Steve, I think you've convinced me that we simply let a sleeping dog lie here and move on.
Sounds like a plan.
I'll go on mute now.
No, it's all good. Thank you.
Okay.
If there's further discussion, we can certainly have a sidebar conversation or take that up at a different time to see what works best for the committee.
Okay. I'll go on here then. The committee rules, again, little editorial changes, like changes in the populations of the communities in the county. Other things such as highways and pipelines, and those things didn't change. And then as far as our procedure and our process, is nothing changed. Number 8, the spills reimbursement policy, same thing. I thought that right after June last year, and that was right after our June meeting when we had the asphalt spill on the County Road E. I thought, well, now it's an opportunity to use the spills reimbursement policy. I found out that for that particular incident, that was a bit of overkill for me to go out and request invoices from the responding agencies. I was doing it based on the policy, but the folks said, no, we'll submit our own bills and it'll be fine. And it was. So I think, and then reviewing the policy, the letter, the procedure, again, it's a product that was written in 1989, has not been modified since, other than maybe a phone number or an address or a contact person. Again, I recommend that spill reimbursement policy is just fine. And if we need to use it, if we need to go after a responsible party or somebody that I think it's workable. So again, I think number 8 could be left alone. And I guess we want to, if I can go on to number 9, the designation of a compliance inspector. We've always designated the state as our compliance inspector. If we have to go into a facility and talk to them, if something's not quite right, we would call the state WIM person, Wisconsin Emergency Management. They'd either do it by email, in person, or virtually come up and talk to the representative at the facility and address what got their attention. So those 3 items, 7, 8, 9, again, my recommendation is they're fine.
Okay, I'll bring them up again just one more time so everyone can see them. So Stephen was talking about the review of the committee rules. Thank you, Stephen. The review of the spill reimbursement policy and the designation of a compliance inspector. We can, if everyone's okay with that, we can have a discussion, certainly. And if everything's copacetic, we can go ahead and accept a motion to continue or accept those. First, any conversation or any questions on the items that Stephen was describing? If not, is there a motion to accept those updates or changes that were suggested?
Kevin Big so moves.
Thank you, Kevin. Any second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Tara. All those once again in favor, indicate so, please. All those opposed? Motion passes. Great, thank you. Stephen, if I could leave it with you, and then I'll stop share here. If we could look at or I could bring it up if you prefer, the list of the committee members again.
If you would, please. Yeah.
Okay. So Stephen, if you wouldn't mind taking us through and blow it up a little bit. We have up for renewal, or for that matter, someone else who's interested, the LAPC chair, the vice chair, and the secretary. And Stephen, could I turn that over for you, please, for discussion?
Every 2 years, again, according to the committee rules, those are the 3 elected positions on the local emergency planning committee. The other positions, as we just went through, are appointed positions. So as a group, and we have established a quorum today, that we can take nominations from the floor for committee chair, vice chair, and secretary. I think we'll do them one at a time, and then act on each one. So if Kristen Bunch, our newish program assistant for emergency management, is taking, I'm sure, furiously taking notes at the moment, so that we can accept any nominations first. So she open it up for committee chair. Okay.
Certainly. Would anyone like to be the committee chair? It comes with lots of perks and benefits, which I haven't figured out what they are yet, but it potentially is there. Anyone interested in becoming the chair?
I would nominate you, Steve Senior, if you're willing to take it again.
I would be honored. Thank you. Anyone else would like to be the chair?
I'll second Kevin's nomination.
Thank you very much. I'm humbled and I'm privileged to serve this fine group of outstanding people. I feel like I'm lobbying for the position, but I'm not. So if anyone else is interested, Okay. Steve, would you recommend we take these and vote individually or all at once?
I think we do them individually.
All right. Do I need to step out of the room? That's what we used to do.
Oh, I don't know.
Probably not. Okay. All those in favor, please indicate so. Opposed? All right, thank you very much. I will do my best to represent the county in the capacity that I have. We'll next move over to Vice Chair. Kate, would you first up be interested, and then we can take other people that might be interested in joining. Would you be willing to continue? Oh, Kate said, I'm sorry, Kate had sent out an indication saying she wasn't able to connect up. So we can maybe do it tacitly. Is there anyone interested in becoming the vice chair? All right, and we will go with the understanding that Kate will continue. We can verify with her on that. Proposal to accept that Kate continue her vice chair role.
Yeah, if you need a motion, Kevin Bigg would move to nominate her.
Thank you again, Chief. Is there a second? I'm sorry, Sheriff. Is there a second?
I'll second the motion, McCullough.
Thank you very much. Again, all those in favor, up please. Opposed? Okay, motion carries. And the last one you see on the screen there is the secretary, Kristen. Is there anyone interested in taking that role?
I would nominate Kristen Bunch.
Great, thank you.
The emergency management program assistant, for those who don't know. Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you, Stephen.
Yeah.
Kevin Bigg will second that.
Thank you, Kevin. Is there anyone else? No other comment? All right. Last time, motion, I'm sorry, we have the motion. Those in favor, please. Okay, so. And opposed? All right, motion carries. We'll go back to the agenda. So the last item would be to take a look at where and when we want to have our next meeting. Most likely virtual again, but we can kind of see how things play out here over the next few months. We could do it, and we'll open this up for the committee. Traditionally, we've met up to 4 times a year, so we could look at either next March 17th, or we could look at the 3rd week in June. Is there any discussion or have any maybe preferences if you'd like to meet? And maybe Stephen, you can help us if we have a number of plans like we do today. We could look at maybe having a meeting in March. And any comments on that from anybody?
I guess my only comment is we'll have 6 plans to look at. And I would still like to set those up for June because it takes some time to get them out, get them changed, get them back, get them reviewed. So I need all of that 6 months to do that.
Oh, okay, great. So then the proposal would be to hold the next meeting virtually or potentially in person or a combination hybrid, the third Thursday in June. Everyone okay with that? I don't believe we need a motion. So what we'll do is, unless something changes, we'll go ahead and schedule that next meeting for June, 3rd week in June, Thursday. And in the meantime, keep up with the communications, updates, and so forth as we've been doing. Last item we'll open up before we adjourn is public comment. Any issues, any items anyone would like to bring up on the call? Concerns?
Steve, this is Jeff from the health department. KT sent over kind of a COVID update that I could share if you'd like.
That would be great if you wouldn't mind, please.
Sure. So here in Duncan County, we continue to see kind of our highest COVID transmission of the year. So by DHS standards, we're still critically high for COVID activity. If you use the CDC metrics for measuring level of high transmission, we're 9 times above that level. For our percent positivity rate, we're about 4 times the level indicated by broad community spread. So the Delta variant remains the predominant variant here in Wisconsin and in Dunn County. We do have tests pending and sequencing from the state lab for Omicron, but it hasn't been identified here, but obviously just a matter of time before it is. So we're still waiting to see if Omicron infections cause the severe illness in unvaccinated population is the same as Delta does, but that's still kind of to be determined. So we still continue to encourage people to get their vaccinations, boosters, wear masks, keep distance, and be safe out there. As far as the data goes, total confirmed cases is 8,900 or 8,095. Total deaths is at 55. Active cases that are currently hospitalized are at 13. Our 7-day average for new cases is at 38.5%. And our 7-day percent positivity is at 19.2. So as far as vaccination update, the vaccine continues to protect against the Delta surge. Obviously, there's still some breakout cases as immunity wanes. But DHS released some data from November just showing that people who are not vaccinated that were diagnosed with COVID-19 are at a 3 times higher rate than those who were vaccinated. People not fully vaccinated were hospitalized at a rate 11 times higher than those who were fully vaccinated. And those who died from COVID-19 that were not vaccinated were at a 12 times higher rate of death than those who were fully vaccinated. Dunn County continues to be under-vaccinated compared to Wisconsin. Wisconsin, we're almost at 58% vaccinated. Here in Dunn County, we're about at 46%. And then just another note that the flu shaping up to be a pretty bad year, especially among children and young adults. So we recommend that you get your flu shot and keep you and your loved ones safe. And then the last thing, hospital capacity. In the 26 regional hospitals, 14 are at peak census. And additionally, concerning is there's no ICU beds immediately available and less than 20 med-surg beds immediately available in our region. So that's kind of our COVID-19 updates as we go into the year 2022 already. So any questions on that? Some questions.
Jeff, a question on the vaccines. Would they be readily available? And I believe for also pediatric, are those able to be accessible by people if they're interested?
Yep. So people can continue to get the Pfizer and Johnson & Johnson boosters through the health department. And we're doing some vaccine. We have been doing vaccine clinics for children 5 to 11. But as far as vaccines or boosters, if not at the health department, you can get it through your provider, and those are readily available.
And is there any discussion about a second booster, or is that too early at this point?
I think that's still a little early. I think they'll see what happens with Omicron and where that goes. But the recommendation is now just to get the booster if you haven't already.
Okay, thank you.
Jeff, I got a question. Is there any tracking on what vaccine has been better protective of people, one versus the other, Johnson & Johnson versus Pfizer?
Yeah, I know there's been a lot of data and research on the Delta variant. I don't have those numbers right in front of me. I could connect with KT and get back to you on if she has any specific numbers for that. But I know they have done a number of studies. And I know early on it was kind of, oh, Pfizer's the best one. And then once the Delta variant hit, then they're like, oh, maybe Moderna is. So I can get you over a more detailed answer because I don't want to give you information that I don't have. So
Yeah, I was just curious about that because I heard some rumblings about that too. Which ones better are more protective than others. So
yep. So
Yeah,
yep.
the most recent study I had seen has Moderna slightly ahead of Pfizer, but they're not sure why, possibly because of the higher dosage.
Okay, thank you. I typed in the chat an excellent website. It's out of the University of Minnesota. It's called CIDRAP, C-I-D-R-A-P. And that's one excellent resource. You're going to get the facts. You're going to get the information. CIDRAP. I believe it's edu. Again, University of Minnesota, where they're specialized in infectious diseases. So you'll get more of the updates, kind of like the question in terms of efficiency, efficacy about the different vaccines, or just in general, some of the information that Jeff was talking about. So that's one resource that you could certainly look at. Other comments or questions? Okay, thank you for that update, Jeff. Before we adjourn, any other questions, concerns, comments? Okay, seeing none, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved. Kevin Big.
Hey, Kevin, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, last time, please, all those in favor? Okay, hands up. Any opposed? Motion passes. Best to you and your family for the holidays. Please be safe. Done a great job. Again, this is the finest LEPC in the land. So appreciate everyone's help, support, especially being adaptive to some of the changes, the virtual meetings we've had, which are sadly becoming the norm. The excellent work that you and the fellows, people in the community, are excellent EMS and LEPC committee members. So have a safe holiday season. Hope you get a little downtime rest. Thank you, Krista, for all your help, and everyone for joining today.